I do pride myself in trying to keep up with mainstream news, especially about like race, class, and gender, because those are mainly the things I could personally say I'm quite interested in, and you know try and involve myself in and have conversations with people about, because they impact a lot of our lives and interactions with other people, whether of other races, classes, genders, and so forth. So I always feel like there's always the, you know, point at which we should start most of our interrogations about how society is. And yeah, hi, my name is Tiamo, and I'm amazing. I really wanted to tackle obviously random facets of race, because I didn't really prepare anything, structured. I just wanted to make this video something personal, um, if I should say, something that I've noted, something from my perspective, and obviously including other people's perspectives that I've come across throughout the years. And it's just some things that I've observed, in that I feel like there's a lot of pacification when it comes to race, and I see it a lot, especially in South Africa. I see it a lot, on posts that have something to do with race, because um, it's either the black people don't have a lot to say, or are very, you know, angry in their demeanor, and the white people are defensive and, you know, carry around this white supremacist ideologies. And yeah, there's just like a very huge contrast, if I could put it like that, because I find that in them defending ourselves, it feels like our opinions as black people, or our assertions, and just anything we might say about race is questioned. There's like a manner in which the validity is questioned, or rather invalidated. Our experiences are invalidated, and there's this superiority complex that is like, yeah, if we were not here, you wouldn't have this and have that and have this. And I always like to go into the comments, because I find that that's the place where you can find the most um, realist or ordinary, or what a lot of people actually think about the topic, because whether it's informed or an uninformed opinion, it is an opinion after all. And I find it quite interesting, like I really do. And especially with how things are, the political atmosphere is in South Africa at this point in time, given that the ANC is doing what it's doing, failing black people. And well, that's obviously biased, but um facts are not opinions, and the facts speak for themselves, and they don't care about your emotions. So yeah, I feel like if that was something that a lot of people echoed, life would be very different in South Africa, because facts do not care about your emotions. But yeah, just finding out what people think about race as a whole is quite interesting. And it's also interesting how privilege makes you understand certain social issues. And I feel like maybe a lack of in-depth analysis, bias, and just probably ignorance does to a lot of our understandings about certain issues. And race is one of them, because there's always the question of, why do you want to make everything about race? And for me, everything is about race. I think in shooting this video, actually, what gave me the courage to even shoot this video was because I had a very horrific nightmare. It's a recurring nightmare of mine, and I always dream that something bad has happened to my hair. Like today, I had a nightmare where like a big patch at the back of my head was bald, and I was carrying all this hair in my hand, and I didn't understand what was happening. Like, why is my hair falling out? And I found that really scary for starters, and really enlightening, because I am very self-conscious of my hair, and that is not something that just happened, or suddenly it's been like brewing. And I am working on it and trying to embrace my hair, love my hair, and see it as part of me, and not just something that is immaterial to who I am and how I perceive myself in society as a Black woman. And yeah, that was I don't want to say fun to watch or fun to think of, but it's alarming, because this is my hair. It's not something that is not part of me. It really grows out of my scalp, and there's nothing I can do to change how it is. And the influence that I've had around me, obviously the white influence, obviously through media, through people, through how other Black people also perceive our hair, is obviously a cause for concern, because that's what we inherit, um, and have ingrained in our psyches. But yeah, that was just a starting point for me, and I felt that, in saying that, it's also such a surface level thing to say if we do not dissect everything about race and started, where it really emanates from, and just like get into the thick of things, because I realized that it's also really hard to speak about race in South Africa because of, you know, the harshness that is attached to it. Like, there's just a harsh, you feel it. You feel it when you start speaking about race, or if you make a comment regarding that, you feel it. It's just there. The tension just grows, and it's like no one wants to speak about it, and no one wants to say anything so as to not, offend mainly white people. And this is where white fragility comes in, because it's as if, we are not supposed to speak about our struggles, and just say how we experience life, because obviously there are two distinct, okay, I don't want to say two because there are a lot of races in the world and in South Africa even, but I feel like, it's just poles that are, very far apart, and our realities are just that. You find that you look at two people of the same age, of the same gender, and look at where they are in life, how they're experiencing life, what they have, how they think, the access that they have to certain information and to certain things, and you genuinely don't understand the gap that you see. Like, it's unbelievable, and I feel like that is intriguing for me, at least, and that's where I want to probably problematize or critique this white fragility, because the more we endorse it, and I know it's a matter of, colonialism, and just the other, or like being inferior, and all of these things, white supremacy, and all these structures that just build up, to this point that which we find ourselves at. And I just want to say that this silence about the racial um, problems in South Africa that lead to inequality and, you know, just these continuous cycles that we see in our lives, or, that we see play out in society, should stop. Because how is it that you are, your comfort is being considered over, someone who's been affected by this the most? It's as if we don't matter like that. Our comfortability doesn't matter. And I feel like speaking about race highlights the level of comfortability we have, or the lack thereof, and it's really amazing even that we are at the place that we are, honestly, because how do I now have to tiptoe around you, considering you have more privilege than I do? You walk as an entity in this world with so much freedom and so much, you know, will and fire, and just enjoying your best life because of something you didn't even earn or choose, or you were just born into it. And I'm not gonna discredit the beauty of privilege, but to what extent do we now um, celebrate so much privilege? And if you're on the side that is not benefiting, how does that make you feel? um, how do we change spaces into those that can embrace who we are, rather, and to have others who are on the receiving end of this privilege, to also understand that it is probably not an attack on who they are. It's just that you should acknowledge that this is reality. South Africa is not a rainbow nation. And I feel like the solution was, developed uh, as a way to, try and reconcile all the races, cultures, and so forth. But the reality is that it is not. We are still in a very racially segregated country. Saying it's a cold war is the best way to describe it, because no one wants to say anything, but we know we are beefing. And I feel like on my side, as a person, as a Black person, I would like to say that this is not getting us anywhere. And I'm not someone who is trying to change the world from a Eurocentric lens or perspective, because that is not who I identify as. And it is time that we let things be known. Like, why should it be swept under the carpet that this is what happened? Why is it so uncomfortable to realize that your ancestors were once perpetrators? And as a white person, you're probably still carrying out that mission, although in a very subtle way. And yeah, this defensiveness is costing our freedom of speech in a way, I feel like, because it's like you can't say these things. Like, if you can't, literally in public, it's like something that you shouldn't say is so taboo. And I don't get it. I can't be protecting your fragility at my expense, because I see it playing out, Because when I was a bit younger, I didn't understand, when people maybe like at a restaurant or like at a mall or whatever, and they were getting inferior or substandard service, and then they'd ask, is it because I'm Black? And I'd be like, what does this have to do with anything? And back then I didn't understand the whole, the foundations of race, at least. But obviously through education and a lot of, transformative behaviors towards that, I've come to learn that people who ask that actually have a point. I feel like they have a right to ask that, and it's warranted. Obviously the exceptions, they're there are instances where it has nothing to do with it, but I always think it does. The fact that I have to ask, is it because I'm black, already says something about the whole situation. You know, it says something about the whole situation. So I just wanted to, I guess, put out my thoughts about race. And although not in depth, I just felt like a personal um, interaction, or yeah, interaction with this topic is something that I needed to do for myself. And yeah, perhaps I might explore, more of this in an essay style, but for now I just want to end this video here. And yeah, let's start interrogating the fact, of the matter. Why is race such a taboo topic in South Africa, especially like in mass media, in public especially? I mean, if we are going to speak about this, then we should. And if you have to be uncomfortable because of this, let yourself feel that uncomfortability. It's meant to be felt, it's meant to be there. What makes you uncomfortable now might not make you uncomfortable tomorrow, and you might find solutions for that. And stop being defensive about it, and find that there's more to learn than to defend. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Maybe share your experiences with me about race, anything that you might want to say, anything that you might want me to record specifically. And yeah, take care of yourself and each other.